Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's live. Um, Today, I was thinking of different things to share with you. What I could share with you today, and I've come up with working on some of these illustrated characters that I actually created some years ago, and I've not done anything with them. So I've just glued this girl on just now. You can see there, and I am going to paint her in some kind of a background. I was trying to decide between her and actually another character that I have here that I've also, let me get this in the camera, that I've also been really interested in for some years, and I've never done anything with them. So this is another cute one. So I thought I would work on this girl today. So let me just see if I can put it about down a little bit. I'm going to get it into the camera view here. So yeah, if you are have some artwork you want to also create yourself, you could go ahead and do that while I'm doing this. So I have like different brushes here. Let me just see. I have a detailed brush. I'm trying to think if I can get a detailed brush. Today I am back in my studio, like for real. And so for the last few days, I have been trying to get myself set up in here. I'm just looking for my gel medium because I think I want to use some more glue on her before I start. So I'll start in the background and then I will work on her once I get into, once I let her dry a little bit. But I'll just put some on my table here and just brush some of this around her so that she is set and starts to dry. So what brush should I use? I want it to dry pretty quickly, so I'm not going to use any water on my brush and just paint this over her. It will seal her in a little bit. It's the same idea as when I was working with my other artwork on the with oil paint, basically. But this, I'm just sealing it in just because I want to make sure she stays on, because that would be good. So then I'm going to work on the background. So I have my palette here with colors. It's pretty colorful. It's got a lot of variety on it. So I just keep adding colors and recreating new colors on this. So it's nothing like it was initially. So what do I want to do with this character? Well, I did some paintings earlier this week. If I just show you, actually, I'll take this off while she's drying, still time. So I did this kind of a dreamy background. And it's going to be one of the time lapses that I share in my shorts soon, so you can see the process for that. But yeah, so that was fun to create. So I'm going to try and make this kind of a background around her, kind of like with trees and the dreamy background. I might use purple instead of the green. I don't know, I'll see. But so I've got my brush in there and I've got some purple I want to use. And so when I start with these colors, I can always lighten them. I just want to get the background in. So I'm going to put a really dark purple to start with around her. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'll just turn it. Let's see if I can zoom in to let you see what I'm doing a little bit. Yeah, a bit more. Let's see, go back in. Then I need to get her position. I think that's too far. I won't be able to paint it myself, so I'll go back out. Yeah, we'll just stay here. Just gonna take this away. It's reflecting in the background. So, yeah, so it's just to paint her in. Another time I might try with my camera coming down from the top. But this actual easel you can't tilt any more than it is. So this is kind of what I've got, and I don't know what the lighting is like for you, but we'll just start painting her in and see what happens. So I hope your week has been well. If you've never been here before, I should just say my name is Beatrice Ajayi, and I am an artist, and I love to create illustrated characters like this one, or I do abstract work, or I do landscapes. I just like to work with different mediums. So um, what you can hear, like, there's people going past here in the house. It gets really busy on this road, actually. So usually I record in the um, kitchen to try and avoid some of that noise, but I want to be back in my studio. So just allow for that. Allow for the noise that we're hearing. We'll be fine. It's mostly visual, and hopefully my voice is loud enough to be able to get some of that background. So, like, even my Friday vlog coming up, what I've been trying to do recently is to lean back into my illustrative work quite a bit. I know I love doing all sorts of stuff, but I want to be able to start dreaming like I used to with my characters and going back into that playful world, because I feel like I've been getting too serious with my work recently, and the joy has not been kind of as present in it as it was. So you can get used to just the doing of things and then forget why you're doing it. So I was doing it because of the joy of doing it. So that's where I am trying to get myself back into that and to look into my illustrative style. And I do it with paint or with digital mediums as well. So just really trying to also be able to deliberately try and get a kind of a mood as well. So this, I'd always imagined her at nighttime. I think I used to have, I don't know if it's this one, but one of the ones that was similar to this, she used to have a lantern as well. But this one doesn't have one. So I'm thinking it's a different little character. So I really like the way this looks. So some areas are darker, and then my brush is kind of giving some textures. So yeah, and the more I'm doing these kind of sessions, I'm starting to remind myself of how to be organized for them. So I am getting more and more organized, and my tools are getting more and more accessible. I'm just trying to get my palette, my glass palette that I have, just get it out, just get it. So in here, I'm setting things up so that they're more accessible. I can reach them, I can use them a lot easier. So I'm just looking for where to put this. So this is a glass palette. It's just an old frame glass, like old picture frame glass that I'm using to paint with, to use my acrylics on. And basically, I like to use it for mixing. So like either to get it so that it's not too drippy before I put it onto the paper or the canvas, or also because then it'd be the right texture or color. So just for mixing as well, it's really good. So as I'm looking at this, I'm trying to think, it's nighttime. What else could I add into this scene here? I want to possibly add like trees or like foliage of some sort coming out. So it would be to kind of play with that. So I'm hoping that this is not blurry. So you can see what I've done. I collaged her into the actual page. So that was because I've sketched her on another piece of paper. I really liked her, so I've put her on here. But then also I have gone ahead and started now adding the background. So I might go into like my more detailed brush that I have here and start adding some extra details. I'm also trying to take my time. So if I don't finish this painting in this session, fine. Because taking my time, then I'll be able to create better work. So I have this idea of kind of like trees coming up from in the background. And this one's kind of textured because the brush is kind of losing color and gaining color and ending up with patterns on it because of that. So I'm trying to create some kind of forest-like background here where there's like tree stumps and going on. So yeah, I'm kind of trying to work on this idea that I can create a piece that can have almost a finished element, but um, and be quite stylized. And I would love looking back on it in the page like another time. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get better announcing these lives, but I'm really happy that it actually gets saved because then I can, after this session, I can go ahead and um, point it out to people on my social media that it's been on. So is that me doing it after the fact? I don't know, but today was a bit hectic because I had an appointment to for the physio. Well, to get a consultation apparently now for my physio, and I was sent to the wrong part of the health center. So I missed my appointment, and then they tried to organize for me to get another appointment. So basically, I ended up being late, and so I had a haphazard morning. But I'm just glad that I'm here, able to do this, because it could have been much worse. So yeah, I've been thinking of the idea of stylizing my pieces, of like the different ideas I've had in the past of how I draw my characters. Like right now, when I'm doing all of this, it's not as thin as I'd like it to be because this is standing up. So I would have to really take my time and I'd block the view trying to get those details. And I need a smaller brush. I just remembered that one of my brushes is not within reach, my liner brush that I would probably be using for some of this. That's fine. So I think my camera is like getting confused as to what to focus on, but I wanted to focus on this character. So we'll see. So there's so many things you can add to, and the more I've been painting, I have been realizing all the different details I can do for things. So you'll probably see the final piece of this like on my Instagram. So I'll put the details for my Instagram below that I will have this piece on. And then you can see it better there. But I am just filling in some little kind of shrub areas here, and then I'm scratching into it. So I might try zooming in a bit and then just to show you. So let's zoom in a bit. Still getting the hang of this, guys. So I'm gonna hold this up and bring it closer. So this is what she looks like so far, with the detail, like I was saying, what I just scratched into here, that area there. So you can see that it was kind of a bold color, and then I scratched into it with the back of the brush, and then you can see what she looks like so far, and some of the trees as well, like in the background. And you can always take time and do more details of things. For me, when I am painting and kind of creating, it's not about, necessarily this being the final piece. Sometimes it's ideas that you're trying out that you can use another time. Like I have a really strong urge to have some areas drip. So I'm just going to put a lot of, well, actually I could spray it. So what I'll do is I'll spray it. So I'll just put some of this here, very liquidy one. And then I'm going to spray into that, and that will allow some areas to drip. So my little spritzer, because there's another way to get kind of things to happen. So you can see the drip there, can you? So let's drip it. Just different effects that we can trial and create something from. Now I have that drip pen. And then I'm trying to look at other areas. What else do I want to add? So I could start going into her now because I think she will be mostly dry. See if I can zoom in to her face, because I'll start with her face basically. So yeah, the angle. Oh yeah, I can always bring my camera closer. I don't know what I'm doing. Right. So and tilt it. So yeah, you can see her a bit better now. So I'm going to work on her face. I feel like this brush is too big. Go back and make a smaller brush. So we'll just take some of my yellow color I have on my actual palette and just mix some white. And just take my time. As I said, this might not get finished, but that's fine. Just add in some colors to tone this to like a skin color of some sort. So where do I start? Just start adding it. So yeah, I've been really wanting to play more with my characters and really start developing them in scenes and having examples of environments and facial expressions and all sorts of things that I want to be able to play with and experiment with. So that's kind of what I've been wanting to do more of recently, and so it's what I'm starting to do. So I think apart from in these sessions, I just want to start doing that. So you will be seeing some more of those examples of as an approach, basically. And this time of sharing, it will just be all to do with trying to get my practice in. So yeah, it's going to be fun. And being patient with myself and learning how to develop my work. So, but if you guys also work, artistically, that'd be cool to share what you do as well. I'd like to know that. And just to know what, you might find interesting or how I could improve. I always say this because I always want to know what other people are thinking about and about their approach to creativity. So I'll find that really interesting to know what other people think about my approach and how they would approach some things as well. Because watching the process is very interesting because we all do things differently. So there might be something I do and someone else will do it differently. So it's cool to know because it might help me improve in what I'm doing. So I would never think that I should, not kind of appreciate the way other people create. So I'm always interested. So I'm trying to look at where there might be any kind of light and playing around with stuff. This tends to end up a lot not the correct way for lighting things. I don't think I always end up getting my lighting right, but so yeah. I'm working with acrylic paint as well. So it's gonna dry faster. So I tend to work a lot faster, or I have my spritzer that I keep using to keep things moist. So I'd sketched this originally with pencil, and then now I'm just kind of going over everything slowly. So her eyes look very expressive. I want to just go over a certain area and then I will leave this alone to dry in this area because the mount, that area is not correct. So her face has got some color in it and I'm still just working along adding. What is today? Today is Wednesday. I think there's a lot of work going on outside. That's what I'm hearing going on. So I'm just thinking where to add the shadow in her arm. And looking at the camera is so interesting. It's so dark, the actual color that I've added there, but I would usually not think that that was too dark. But what I'm finding is that I'm trying to pare back my saturation. Yes, I know this purple is quite deep purple, but I'm going to add some other colors, some lighter purples in here and do some things. I think I'm going to jump into her hair in a minute, actually. Maybe I should do her dress. I think I'm imagining her dress as blue. I'm going to use a bigger brush to fill some space. Her hair, because this area is quite dark, but I'm going to lighten it. So I need to think what color I want to do her hair, but I'm going to go into her clothing next. And I'm just mixing it with some of her face color here. And I'm going to go in and start adding this blue. Blue-green turquoisey color. So yeah, today's setting up, because I'm starting to get into the flow of setting up for the live streams. Even though I had that delayed situation with physio and everything, it was not as hard to set up because things actually happened quite smoothly. The machines listened and worked. So yeah, the computer worked very well. And so here I am. I haven't filled in all my description details. I never get a chance to do that at the beginning. I'm still working out how I can do that more efficiently. But yeah, so what I will be doing is being more organized in the future the more I do it. But at least I'm up and running and you can see what I'm painting, which is my main aim, is to be able to share and then you can hear me and we're just working. So yeah, I'm really enjoying these. So when I usually put a color on my character, I also like to put color in their eyes as well. So even though this is a very small character, I put some blue there and I've just realized that her skin, her legs are not done, which is very interesting. Right, I'm just gonna move this down so we can see her feet. You see? Not done these feet, which are barefoot. So it's the same color kind of as her face. So let's see if I focus back on this. So I am going to go back into her legs basically and add some color in there. So these are going to be darker because they're underneath, like the dress, they're lower down. So even though I'm putting this lighter color at the beginning, I will be putting the darker one in a minute. So yeah, my acrylic paint, I keep it moist because of spritzing it. So if I think it's starting to dry up, I'll just use this spritzer and just spray it, and that will keep it moist. And that's what I've been doing basically. But obviously, your ratio of water to acrylic paint is very important because then, if not, it will be watered down too much, and then I think it breaks the actual bonding in the acrylic. So yeah, some of the colors will mix in, all sorts of things goes on, but there's layers and layers of acrylic paint. It's not just the one. So this will take time building the layers. I'm trying to think what color to do her hair. There's so many options. I feel like because I want to introduce purple, like a lighter purple. Let's see if I lighten purple, what's going to be like. There's another purple here that I'm trying to possibly use. See, I'm just going to mix that over here with some blue and see what happens with this purple. So many ways to do this. So I don't know what color to make our hair. I'll get into it soon enough. I can imagine little like things here, like just dashes of stuff. I don't know. And lines. Just going to add a little bit more water. Could have spritzed that, but I'm just dabbed it into my water, my kettle water. But I'm imagining like, I don't know, thin lines, big lines, just being dragged up here. I just did updated something I'd done in my son's room, which was I'd basically sketched him one of his most favorite Pokemon, and I hadn't quite done it the way that he would have expected. So I went back in just recently after a long time. I'm sure it's like over 2 years or something since I did it. And I gave it kind of a glowy thing happening in the background. So it was similar to this kind of swirls happening. And so, yeah, this is probably where the inspiration for what's happening right now is coming from. So as I said before, at the beginning of this, I glued the character down, collage from an old painting, old drawing, old sketch. And then I am now going in and adding details, painting her. She's basically out at night, and this is like, obviously something's going on. I don't know what's going on, but something is going on. And it's just to add all those layers and interests and details. So adding leaves. And my brush needs to be wet enough to get a tip, and then getting the proper leaf shape. It's easier doing it one way than the other. So going this way, I have to push down. But yeah, so I like adding all these details and bringing in that whole aspect of nature and things. So that's what I'm doing here. Thinking of the different marks I could add. Kind of organic marks as well. And if I don't like a shape, just kind of trying to fine tune a shape. If you don't like something, you can always wipe it off, but it's usually harder when it's on paper than if it's on a canvas or something. Like a dot, small dot. You get kind of like different teardrops and things. My brush could be smaller, but you can see it, so that's good. So I should stop moving my hand around because we're trying to look at this character here. Her hair? What color? I always tend to go to red if I think that it should be something other than black. I don't like to go with the expectations of blonde and black hair. Or maybe brown would be one way to go. So if I look here, I'm going to get a bigger brush because this will take forever. Oh, I'm realizing I didn't actually stipulate a timeline for this. I will keep going. I'm trying to remember when I started this. So it's half an hour already. Right. Okay. We could do an hour today because I've got the energy for it. I think I've been trying to make them in between an hour and half an hour and an hour. So yeah. Now I'm gonna go in and start putting in her hair. And then I'll try and remind myself to do these swirly things with lighter colors. So I always put my intention to those swirls that were on the paper. beforehand on my intention, and then I just kind of have to remember that when I actually going to start painting. So there's areas where I still need to come back in with the purple again and add to those for my initial paint. So yeah, it takes time. I need to accept that it takes time to build up characters and to work on them. And now I'm sharing that time. In the live sessions, it's about sharing that time with you and seeing kind of some of the process that goes into things. Because you could always see the finished piece and wonder, okay, how did she start that? What did she do to get that like that? And you can see now some things I do to make life easier, or I've learned help me to make things easier. If I try to, I mean, another way I could have done this is scan that image and then I'll have multiples. I can cut it out and I can then go ahead and use her in different paintings. There's so many ways to work with your drawings. So yeah, this is me now going in, taking my time. As I said, layers. So this is like the first layers going on. It's not the final ones. And you just basically, so I've covered all this area, then it dries, and then we'll go back in with something lighter or start to, if we want to kind of make some specific areas more highlighted than others. So you can see how we've done this already. Very straightforward. I glued on a piece of paper of a drawing of my character, which is similar to this one. So I could do the same exact thing I've just done with her, I could do with this. So you can see I tore that out. So I could do another one and just sketch that one and start painting on it. And then I've gone on to start painting her face in, her hair, everything that you can see here. This color is more blue that is in the background. I was thinking more of another purple, but that's fine. So I could always add other purples. So I'm going to try that now. And I'm going to add white to this purple that I've just taken. I'm going to add some white onto it. So it was a little dab of purple, and I imagined this lighter color before. So let's see what this looks like on some areas of this painting. And I'm trying to think of what designs to create with this. So we could actually have a smaller brush than this. This is not as small as it gets. But yeah, so I've got a kind of a lilac color. And I'm going to add some of that in her eye as well. So just using my tip to bring that in. You can't really see the details. I need to wait for this to dry so I can put my hand on this and actually work into those details. But I'm going to start just adding some areas. I might just do what I did before, but this time it's with this color. So here we go. I need to add more water onto this. It's quite thick. But yeah, I'm just adding, probably don't have to add this. Oh, another truck going past. Like getting things done. So I keep looking back at the camera just to see what it is that I'm doing. So there's different ways to do this. You can make it like it's marks with your brush. I just have this kind of thing in my head of it being like that, being a lot of motion and being quite special, and so it's all kind of movements. We want to add some like leaves and things as well, or like grass. So I've taken a little bit away of that purple there. I might bring it back if I like it. But yeah, just keep going. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Oops, I always say that and zoom in. So this is what she looks like so far. I'm going to use a bigger brush, I think. I like the white around there, so I'm very cautious about trying to mess up with this silhouette because I like the silhouette actually. So what more could I bring into this character? Because originally I actually wanted it to glow behind her. I can still bring in more of like the details in her dress, which I could do now. Sometimes I just add other items because I'm still thinking what to do with other areas. So this is quite a strong color, bring it in. Let's see, let's go closer in. So this is quite a bright color. Let's see how this goes. It's not, you can see the color there in the video. I mean in the camera. And then I'll just add some here. So I'm kind of highlighting areas that I would say are catching a light. So trying to get that there. So as I said, highlighting, going over like the layer below, and that's how we can build. So I could actually now also as well go into her hair. There's a color here that I think it's already pre-made really. I've added some of that green still on my brush in, and I'm gonna go into her hair. I think I might add a little bit of water so that it kind of moves a little bit more. So there's different ways to do it. You can have a brush that is mostly dry and kind of go over the hair. Maybe I should try that actually. I was gonna do kind of like work with strands. Okay, the strands idea is not too bad. Okay, forget this. The texture basically I was going to use before would be like the texture in the background here, but this isn't too bad actually in the brush. It's not too dry, but so we've got some color on her. Yeah. So add in some kind of filling in areas. Right. So just add in some details on our face. Yeah, I think that would probably be, I should stop there for today actually. It would be just to fill in more and more and to take it further. But I think that was quite a nice quick burst of animated result from this. I like it. I think it's really nice, and I will create my thumbnail from this little girl. She's very cute. There's so much more. I could probably have added something to her feet here actually for her, just to show where her feet are. Let's see this blue one. Like little step things, just random ideas of how to get the character some extra definition. So yeah. And what I do is I don't think too much about it. So let's zoom in and see what I just did now. So I don't know if it's as clear as it could be. Let's go down to her feet. It's not as clear as it could be, but I've got this color here. Might add a bit of that color here, so I just made it lighter. You can see it there. And this color, so it's like where her foot is. I think the camera makes it look amazing actually when I'm looking at it here, because the camera really exposes the light on that. So yeah, that looks great. And just add in different things like little grasses sticking up. So many ideas. Little grasses sticking up, and building everywhere really. So that is pretty cute. I like that. So yeah, let's see. So looking at the little drips at the bottom as well, and then moving our way up. So thank you for joining me for this live session. One day I will understand how to um, basically make it work a lot better. Let me see. There I am. So yeah, thank you for joining me for that. And I loved creating this little character. She was spontaneous because I wasn't sure what to share with you. Usually every Wednesday, I don't know what to share with you, but we have managed to make her work. She is gorgeous, gorgeous. And yeah, so that illustrator style, I want to bring that more into my working. So practicing with that more is going to be fun to do. So yeah, I think that she's very cute. And ideas like this, I want to do more of um, with my work. So yeah, whatever sketches I do, and this is a sketch that's just kind of on an ordinary print paper, and I've glued that on, and this is the result we've got from that, from working with acrylics. You could do this with watercolor, gouache, oil paint, like I showed in my last ones as well. So this has been fun. I will see you next Wednesday in the next Wednesday Studio Live, sharing with you. And I love it. I love sharing. So I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day and have a great week as well. Till I see you next. Bye. Bye.